All right. Hello and welcome to the Planning Commission meeting. We will start off with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I have brought a flag. That way we have somewhere to look. If I could have everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Right hands over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Perfect. Thank you. At this point, we will go to roll call. Stephanie?
Yes, of course. I will start with Commissioner Guerrero.
Present.
Commissioner Lopez.
Present.
Chair Sanchez.
Present.
Commissioner Quill.
Present.
Let's see, Commissioner Wilbert.
Present.
Commissioner Chang. Do I have Commissioner Jaramillo? Let's see, not yet. And Vice Chair Jones and Commissioner Liang are not on. We have quorum.
Perfect. Thank you, Stephanie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we are going to have, similar to the last meeting, a few changes to how we are going to be conducting the meeting. Albert can back me up if I miss anything. So we are first going to listen to the staff report. From there, we will listen to public comments from the public. Then we will have the applicant respond to any of those questions or add on to the staff report. From there, we will open it up and we will go systematically down from the wards, from commissioner to commissioner, for their opinion. After everyone has gone, if you can just raise your hand if you have something more to add after all the commissioners are done, then we can call on you individually and you can add to the report. Before we start the staff report, I'm going to do also a real quick question. Is anyone have a conflict of interest that they're involved in any of the projects being presented at this moment or presented tonight? I should know. No? Perfect. Okay. If you are going to take a few moments break and something, please just raise your hand. That way we can kind of note you and make sure we still have quorum for any of the decisions we make or any of the reports that we listen to. So just kind of raise your hand and we'll call on you so that way we can get that. If you're speaking, you can obviously unmute yourself, but while someone else is speaking, just mute yourself. That way we can have a clear understanding of what that person's saying and we're not having multiple voices being recorded. And from there, I think we are good to go. Yes, Stephanie.
Oliver is having a little bit of difficulty connecting. If we can just maybe pause for a few minutes so that we can get him situated on Zoom and then resume the meeting.
No, of course. Yes. So we'll just wait for him to come online. I see that he's kind of muted and we don't quite see him yet. So
I'm gonna work with him to get him connected.
No worries.
Okay.
So we'll take a moment to allow that to happen. At this time, I'll just say hello and I hope everyone is doing well. And well, we'll just wait a moment. Hope you've had a all the call-ins, or has that already been processed?
We actually don't have any public comments.
Okay.
So I don't have anybody to call in to give any 3 minutes. At this point, there wouldn't be an administrative of oath. So we can proceed if you like.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So we will go to the consent agenda. If we could have the staff updates on the consent calendar.
Yes, Commissioners, good evening, and here I am. I'm from the Pong area, so excuse my technical challenges. On the consent calendar, we have 2 items. I take that back. We have 1 item. It is the special meeting of May the 12th. We have the minutes for that. I would like to make 1 modification for that. On page 1, after the date May 19th, instead of boardroom, it should say Zoom meeting or something to that effect.
All
Other
right.
than that, that's complete advantage.
Okay. So, Albert, will we need to make that modification, or is that already in?
So what I see is it says boardroom, but then in the text it says that the meeting was conducted via Zoom web conference. So it's probably okay just to leave it as is.
Perfect. All right. Do we have? I will open at this point public comment for this agenda item. Does anyone have anything to add or to say to this? No, I see. Oh, yes, Commissioner Lopez.
Hello?
Yes, Commissioner Lopez.
If you're voting on the minutes for the May meeting, I don't think I can vote on that because I wasn't in attendance for the May meeting. I don't mind the other items, but for the approval of the minutes for the month of May, I was not in attendance, so I don't know if I can vote on that.
All right.
That's a question for Mr. Maldonado.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe
So how
you
many?
submit her for that, or
How many
excuse
do
me.
we have? How many do we have in total? How many commissioners on this meeting right now?
I believe we have 6.
Okay, then that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
As long as we, as a general rule, as long as we have quorum, with those persons who want to abstain because they weren't at the meeting, that's fine. But just, for the future, if it's ever the case that if we were to lose Commissioner Lopez's vote and we wouldn't have a quorum to take that vote, it's okay to go ahead and vote even though you weren't at the meeting, just so you know.
Okay. All right then. Thank you.
Sure.
Perfect. If we have no other comments on this, I will close this public hearing item. It is 6:17, and I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the change of deleting the boardroom and putting in the Zoom meeting.
I will second that, and we will have a vote roll call. Stephanie?
Yes, thank you. So I'm just going to go straight down the list. Commissioner Guerrero,
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez,
Do I say aye or abstain? Aye, I vote aye.
Chair Sanchez,
Aye.
Commissioner Quill,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilbert,
Aye.
Commissioner Chang. Commissioner Chang? I think she said yes. Commissioner Chang? We can't hear you. Uh-oh.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I have to use a phone. For some reason, my computer microphone's not working.
Was that an
Okay.
affirmative vote for the minutes?
Yes.
Okay. The item passes.
Perfect. All right, we will continue on to the second item. So at this time, I will be reading the public hearing item. The Planning Commission will first hear a report from staff, and then the public hearing will be opened. The applicant will have an opportunity to speak. Next, members of the public will be allowed to speak. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak must be sworn in and also fill out a request to speak form. After all have spoken, the applicant will be allowed to respond. The public hearing will then be closed and the Planning Commission will begin deliberations and make a decision. All actions except general plan amendments and amendments to the Municipal Development Code are final actions unless an appeal is filed and a fee paid within 15 days to the Community Development Department. If you challenge the resultant action of the Planning Commission in court, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at the public hearing described in this agenda, or in written correspondence delivered to the Community Development Department at or prior to the public hearing. All right. Item number 2, if we could have the staff report, please.
Yes, Commissioners. Item number 2 is being processed in accordance with Senate Bill 743. It involves the vehicle miles traveled threshold guidelines. Essentially, what this ordinance will do, or guidelines, it'll change the way we evaluate traffic in studies in the city. Specifically, we will go from what we currently use as level of service to vehicle mile travels. We are working in collaboration with the Public Works Department to finalize this document. Public Works has been working with the San Bernardino CTA, the Transit Authority, to over the course of the last year to analyze the potential threshold. We are requesting that this item be continued to the next regular meeting, which is scheduled for July the 14th.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Oliver. I will hereby open public hearing for item number 2. I don't see anyone who wishes to speak on it since we'll probably be moving this to the next meeting. I will close public hearing for this item, and I will entertain a motion to continue this onto the July meeting. Do I have a motion?
I make a
I'll
motion.
make a motion.
This item to the July 14th meeting.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll
Commissioner.
second.
Perfect. We have a motion. We have a second. Stephanie, if you'd like to do the roll call.
Of course. Commissioner Guerrero,
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez,
Aye.
Chair Sanchez,
Aye.
Commissioner Quill,
Aye.
Commissioner Wolbert,
Aye.
and Commissioner Chang.
Aye.
The item passes.
Perfect. Going on to item number 3. If we could have the staff report for that.
Yes, please. Item number 3 is the process being done by the Public Works Department. They have prepared a mitigated negative declaration for the extension of the North State Street. It'll done over some segments. We do have a little PowerPoint here, I believe.
Oliver, there is no PowerPoint prepared for this item.
There's no problem.
There should be.
Let me check. Okay. Let me share my screen.
It's simply a few slides. I wanted to show you, we do have an aerial that shows the limits of the project.
Can everybody see?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Oliver.
Okay, so essentially we've got the first part of the half-mile stretch, or 1.5 mile stretch. It's 100-foot wide, 4 lanes, and they'll be improving the curb, sidewalk, and gutters on North State Street, and it would be from West 16th Street to baseline, and this is the exhibit here. So it shows the segments So like I said, this is part of the Public Works Capital Improvements Program. Ultimately, we'll go all the way south to 5th Street. So I do have Alex Keisha from Public Works that is here that has, if you have any specific questions, but at this time, we're not recommending it's not a recommendation for approval of the project. Rather, it's just for the environmental document that was prepared for it. Subsequently, it will be presented to the City Council for consideration of approval. And our recommendation is the Planning Commission adopt resolution to forward this to the City Council. Thank you. I'd be glad to answer any questions. And again, Mr. Alex Keisha from Public Works is here as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Oliver. So at this time, I will open public hearing for this item. We don't have public comments, correct, Stephanie?
Correct. No public comments.
Wonderful. All right. Do we have the applicant here, or is it more just a citywide?
Yes,
It's from Public Works.
Public Works. Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. Did you want to add anything, Alex, to Oliver's report?
Yeah, if we go back to the slide, if you don't mind, Stephanie, I'm sorry. If we go to the slide number 3, where the map is, if you don't mind, please. As you got, Commissioners, good evening. As you can see from the map that is provided, this project was, designed to be on 5 phases. As you can see, what we are applying for is right now phase 1. The issue that we have with the other phases, we did some environmental, determination on the project, and on the phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. Unfortunately, we found out that there is what they call kangaroo rats exist in the area. So our mitigation to accommodate for the kangaroo rats will be way more than what the project is intended to be. So at this point of time, the environmental determination that we are requesting is for the phase 1, which is between, is that baseline and I'm sorry guys, baseline and which one, Oliver? Can I see it very well? 60 and baseline, is that what it is?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
So that is, at this point of time, the environmental determination. Our next, what are we working right now with? There is some right of way that we are trying to acquire, and the design for this project is about 95% completed. Waiting on to the final determination of the property that we're taking over, because this project crosses a big property that is basically, after we take it, after we design it and build it, that property will be non-conformist to any development in the future. So it's a major project for us. This project is for the circulation element. We are trying as much as we can, to meet the circulation element for the city. This is just my 2 cents on it. If you have any more questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alex. All right. So what I will do at this point, I will call on the commissioners by ward, and then we will have turns to be able to comment on this item. So starting with the first ward, Commissioner Guerrero.
No comments on that. Thank you. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Lopez.
I do have a question. On this extension, was there already a street and we're just widening the lane?
There is, at this point of time, there is no street exist. This is a brand new street that we are trying to build.
Oh, so that's why you're trying to acquire some of the property.
Exactly.
Okay. Is there a residential neighborhood that's going to be impacted by this widening?
Nothing that's in the immediate of the project.
Okay.
It's just that will be a connector that will serve. I'm not sure if you can see my my mouse here, but all of these areas that, as you see, all these residential will be benefited from that extension of the road.
Okay, thank you.
I say you're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Lopez. Commissioner Quill? Oh, if you could unmute yourself.
Okay, I do have a question. Where are the funds coming for this project?
The funds for the project, this project is funded by the regional circulation development fee, which is a fee that we collected from the development, when they come developing the city, just to serve the purpose of building these streets. So that is called the fund that is come from is regional circulation development impact fee.
Okay, and those funds can only be used for projects like this?
Yes, these funds are used on a project where we call in the Nexus study, which is including this street, H Street widening, 40th Street widening, and Mount Vernon Bridge replacement.
Okay, can these funds be used for repairing the streets?
No, these funds only for streets that in the Nexus study that the city prepared some time ago, and these segments of the street was identified as needed for to be widened or new built.
Okay, the issue with the kangaroo rat, that's going to be quite a costly issue. So it looks as though you're going to probably do phase 1 and 2 and then deal with the rat issue.
Well, but that is for us to be determined in the future. Unfortunately, the mitigation measure to accommodate for the kangaroo rats, it was more expensive than building the street itself. So we will need to evaluate it for the future and see how we're going to proceed.
Okay. So if you're going to be, the future part of the project is the cost of mitigating the rat issue. So wouldn't you want to reconsider this particular project or look another route without disturbing the area where the kangaroo rat is at?
The segment that we're asking for right now, and we are doing the plans, is not affected by any kangaroo rats. That is why we're pushing for this segment to be done first.
Okay, well, you get segment phase 1, phase 2, and then this particular road, does it run into another street or does it just dead end in that vacant lot?
That vacant lot, that is what I can't see my cursor. No, the vacant lot, I believe that is where the kangaroo rats were identified in the environmental document.
Yes.
So that's why it's like that is the phase 4 and 5 of the project.
Okay. So I guess what I'm asking though is, once we take all the houses, eminent domain, and move all the people out and build this street, it just, until we deal with the rat issue, it's just going to dead end into the undeveloped area.
No, I apologize. Let me just see if I can identify it for you. It's more precise. Hold on. It's good when we're in the Zoom, we can pull our stuff on the computer and we can discuss this. Let me just, because, I believe that is State Street Extension. And that what we're asking for at this point of time is that as we do the extension between phase 1, which is Baseline to 16th. So between Baseline Road and 16th Street at this point of time, there is no road whatsoever. So what we're planning to do is we're planning to construct this road to make the connection for these people to get in and out to 16th and Baseline.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Quill. If I could ask Commissioner Lopez, if you could mute yourself while everyone else is speaking until you're called on. That way we can all hear who's speaking at the time.
Okay.
Wonderful. If we could have Commissioner Wolbert. if you have any comments.
Yeah, excuse me. Suppose you don't get the Kangaroo Rat approval. What benefit is this extension? I know you went access, but will this benefit the city overall with commerce or anything that will just benefit the city overall? Is there is it a possibility, or is it just an extension to clear up that?
Yes, the benefit of the city
If I
that
may,
is.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Alex, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead.
Commissioners, I think the focus is, the item before you is for the environmental document that was prepared for the overall project. The project itself, the street improvement, the expansion or the extension is not the item that's before you. The focus is on the CEQA document that was prepared. Although the questions for just for educational purposes are quite all right, but I just got to make sure that we have the focus on that the action is for the environmental document, not for the approval of the project. Thank you.
Well,
And if the commissioners have any questions about the project, that is, if you can email Stephanie and your questions, and then she can forward to me, I'll be more than happy to answer the questions as much as I can.
Continue, Commissioner Wilbert.
Okay, you've got money here to spend on something. Can that money be spent on a different project that would give more immediate benefit to the city?
Yes, as I explained, the funds that used for this project can be used in certain streets within the city, which is what was identified as on the Nexus study that was prepared for the city. And as I mentioned before, there is 4 projects on that Nexus study that's funded by this fund. The first one is the 40th Street widening between Electric and I think Rialto. And then the second one is the H Street widening. And then this one, State Street and the Mount Vernon Bridge replacement. That's what these projects, the fund identified for these projects only. And this is a great benefit to the city because it's really give you the circulation element needed that we're trying to implement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Wilbert. Commissioner Chang, any comments?
Can you hear me now? Yes, okay. I only have one question since this is environmental. Is traffic noise study going to be part of this project? Maybe not as for phase 1, maybe down the road, like 7.4, 7.5. I'm just curious about that.
If I may answer this, the CEQA requires, I believe there's 18 disciplines: air quality, noise, hydrology, energy, biology, cultural resources. There's a list of items. The CEQA document, the mitigating negative declaration, did address all of those items in there.
Thank you.
And if there was appropriate mitigation, it would have been included in that document.
Okay, thank you. That's it. That's all I have.
Perfect. Thank you, Commissioner Chang. Commissioner Jaramillo? Then we will continue. I did have one question. I realized that this actually covers a quite large expanse from 16 to Baseline. Will they be able to connect a little easier to the freeway? I know this is about CEQA, but correct? Because I know I noticed around there are starting to build more homes and there's a little more industry kind of being built around that area. So as an exit as well, in case, it is further north. So I want to make sure that they have, in case of fires, that there are other points for them to be able to get to freeways or be able to exit the area. So this would be a better access for them.
Yes.
So I just wanted to emphasize that, this is actually a good project, and this will help the circulation, as you were saying, Alex, Oliver, that, in case of emergencies, this is a good improvement and use of our resources for this. I will actually go through one more time if any of the commissioners have any extra comments this time. If you can just raise your hand. If no other comments, then we will actually close public comments for this. And it is 6:40, and I will entertain a motion. Then I will entertain a motion for us to pass this agenda item. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Stephanie, if we could have a roll call vote.
Of course. Commissioner Guerrero,
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez, it looked like an aye, affirmative.
Did you hear me now? Aye.
Yes, thank you. Chair Sanchez,
Aye.
Commissioner Quill,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilbert,
Aye.
Commissioner Chang.
Aye.
Thank you. The item passes.
Perfect.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right, so we're going on, moving on to agenda item number 4. If we could have the staff report, please.
Yes, good evening, Commissioners. Item number 4 is conditional use permit 20-05. It's a request to allow the establishment and operation of a charter school within an existing commercial building, approximately 23,573 square feet, and was formerly used as a production studio. It is located on a parcel containing 1.74 acres at 444 West Rialto Avenue within the commercial office zone. Next slide, please. The prospective tenant is Excelsior Education Center, who have 6 other charter schools operating successfully within the Inland Empire. The proposal includes a tenant improvement to the existing commercial building, involving the addition of 4 new classrooms and a new quad area, as well as a storage area ancillary to the school use, while the remainder of the offices will be renovated. Students will arrive by drop-off via one of the 60 existing parking spaces at the south side of the building. Students will also have the opportunity to utilize nearby public transportation, as no busing will be provided to the site by the school. Teachers will park in the northern parking lot, leaving many of the 19 available spaces unused. The school operates with the understanding that the students do not attend all day every day, but instead spend a couple of hours a week on campus while studying the rest of the time at home to complete their studies. Operations include 10 students per hour, ranging in age from 12 to 19, 2 to 3 hours a week by appointment between the hours of 8:30 and 4:30. It would be adequately staffed and security would be provided if needed. The proposed charter school is also consistent with the policies of the general plan and complies with the standards of the city's development code. Next slide. As you can see, we have the location map. There's the project site. We have the aerial map. You can see it is not too far from from City Hall. Here's the site looking north towards West 2nd Street. Here's the site looking west towards Northeast Street. This is the site looking east towards North Arrowhead. And this is the site looking south towards West Mill Street. Here's the site plan. As you can see, there's enough parking to accommodate the land use. We have the enter only, exit only for drop off, or they have the option to park in the many various parking spaces within the front and you can see the circulation patterns. Next slide. We have the floor plan. You can see the offices and the new classrooms. And then finally, our recommendation is that the Planning Commission adopt resolution number 2020-22, finding the categorical exemption and approving conditional use permit 20-05 based on the findings of fact and subject to the recommended conditions of approval. I can take any questions if you have any, and I believe the applicant is online to take questions as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
At this point, I will open public hearing. And since we don't have any public comments for this, we will actually listen first if the applicant has anything to add to that staff report.
Good evening, commissioners, and thank you for your time. I just wanted to say we appreciate you guys taking a look at this and would be happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here. All right, so I will go again systematically through the commissioners. That way we have, everyone can voice an opinion. Starting with Commissioner Guerrero.
Yes, thank you. How many students did you say that would be on site? Do you have a schedule there?
The schedule is kind of open to interpret sorry, the schedule is open to the students, so it's based on each student's individual need. And actually our principal of the site, Maribel Lopez Tyas, is on as well. She will probably have a better answer for you on that one.
Hi, good evening.
Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening. Again, thank you for allowing us to have this opportunity to share our school. And so we're very excited to have this opportunity to give the students, especially now with the COVID-19 and distance learning, our students actually have an opportunity to have a hybrid model. So they can come to class a couple hours a day based on their needs, as Mr. McKinney mentioned, but they also can work from home and do some distance learning. So it almost looks like the way that we're going to be going for traditional schools, but Excelsior Charter School has been offering this already. So we're really excited about each student and parent can plan their own educational plan based on the needs of the student, based on the needs of the parents, and also as a administrator, we're obviously supervising students and staff as well as additional support staff, making sure that all the students are engaged and learning and actually having a great time, but as well as learning with their peers. And again, it's just, I'm new to Excelsior. This is my first year coming from a traditional model. And for me, this has been exciting, so exciting to be a part of.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Commissioner Guerrero, did you have any other questions for the applicant?
Yes. How many students do you plan to have on site on any random given day? I understand that it's based on their schedule. So how many would you say?
I couldn't actually say specifically. We could have 10 students, we could have 20 students randomly some students coming in at several times. We have students that prefer the afternoons versus the mornings. So I would have to defer to John, but I'm not sure exactly how many classrooms we have. I think we have 4, but again, it just depends on the needs of the students. So I wouldn't say no more than whatever the capacity is.
And it seems like they're of older age. So is that, what specific grades are they?
So it's 7th through 12th grade.
Okay. No other questions. Thank you.
Great, perfect. Commissioner Lopez, do you have any comments for this?
Yes, I have a couple of questions, if I may, from the applicant. Does Excelsior have other charter schools within San Bernardino County? Is this a first?
I can answer that. We actually have 6 other than the San Bernardino, and then we also have 1 in the Riverside.
6 throughout the county of San Bernardino.
Right.
Could you tell me what cities?
Let's see. I'm gonna hope John, I know you can help me with this. There's one in currently in Highland, Victorville, North Victorville, Phelan, And I think
Barstow.
Ontario.
Barstow and
Barstow, excuse me.
And how many years have these charter schools been in operation with success, I hope?
approaching 30 years, Commissioner.
Okay. So your charter school is known and approved by the San Bernardino Unified School District? Okay.
By the San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools, we are chartered under the a county-wide charter.
Okay. And this is a question for the staff. Again, tell me, I know it's located on Rialto Avenue. What are the two closest cross streets?
It's in between North Arrowhead and Stoddard.
North Arrowhead and Stoddard. And what is across the street from what will be this school?
West 2nd Street would be to the north. So it's actually right down the street from us.
From
City Hall. Yes.
City Hall, or where your office is at?
From 201 Northeast Street.
Okay, so right across the street is
right down the street.
Or some mall, or what? I'm trying to get some point here.
Sorry, Commissioner. A prominent nearby building would be the AT&T offices. They just moved the large antenna from. If that's a landmark for you.
Okay.
Can we go back to the zoning map, please? So we have Northeast Street, we have D Street, and if you look up to the north, that's where City Hall would be.
Oh, okay.
Yes, right there.
So we're talking about downtown San Bernardino.
Downtown San Bernardino, bringing life back to the city.
So what building is there? This is not a new building, but it's going to be a redevelopment building?
It's going to be an existing facilities building. Could we go to one of the elevations, please? So this is the existing building, the existing site. It used to be a production studio.
Oh, I know where it is now.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
I get it.
Mhm.
Okay, yes, it is right there on East Street and Arrowhead facing Rialto Avenue. Okay, great. Okay. So for the applicant, is there going to be much development of the facade or anything around the school?
Great question, Commissioner. We plan on keeping the building as is and just repainting, touch up to make everything look as new as possible, and general upkeep of the property.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner. If we could have Commissioner Quill, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. First of all, that sounds like an exciting project. It's a good location. As far as security goes, I don't know if you're planning any wrought iron fencing around the location or possibly security guards. That area has across the street from there, there's a large homeless population that kind of hangs out, and they've actually had tents on that property also. The car wash next door had to put wrought iron fencing all around to keep the homeless out of there. So is there a plan for fencing or landscape fencing and security?
Yes, Commissioner. So we, as part of this proposal, I believe it should include a wrought iron fence to match the pre-existing in the northern portion of the property to include the remaining portion of the property. Additionally, we've been in contact with the City Police Department as well as San Bernardino Schools Police Department and have had tremendous support from them in addressing the homeless issues. And then additionally, we have a night guard on duty 7 days a week from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. And then during school hours, we also have a security guard on property as well.
Thank you, Mr. McKinney. It sounds like a great project.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Wilbert?
I would have a little concern on fencing, that's all. Make sure that people just can't wander in, and maybe some landscaping with it. But I think fencing is a priority on that in that respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Chang?
Thank you. Sorry, I had to try technical difficulty trying to unmute here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. I have a few questions about the operation of the school for the owner, Mr. McKinley. How many teachers or full-time equivalent staff would the school have at this location?
Good evening, Commissioner. Right now, approximately 5 staff. We are looking to move our facility in Highland over into this property, and there are currently 4 facilitators, teachers, as we call them, our facilitators, and then an office assistant and the principal.
Okay, thank you. So I concur. It looks like a great project. I have no further questions. Thank you.
All right, perfect. Much like my other commissioners have mentioned, it looks like a great project. The building, I know I've actually driven by before at that several times when I'm going downtown, or even when I saw the proposal for this project. It is actually a really quite lovely building. I noticed that the conditions of approval, item number 9 and 13, they're showing that you are doing landscaping, that there will be fencing. So thank you for including that, safety for the students, and also giving a nice view to our downtown area. So definitely need some little TLC. So thank you, and this sounds like a great project. At this point, I'll just go through the commissioners. If anyone has any further comments, you can just raise your hand. If not, then I will close public hearing for this item. It is 6:56, and I will entertain a motion.
I second the motion.
Did we have someone propose the motion?
I will propose that we adopt resolution, this is 2020, right? 02, for item number 4. I make a motion, we approve this project.
So we have a motion. I believe Commissioner Chang seconded that motion. And then Stephanie, if we could have a vote roll call.
Of course. Commissioner Guerrero?
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez?
Aye.
Chair Sanchez?
Aye.
Commissioner Quill?
Aye.
Commissioner Wolbert?
Aye.
And Commissioner Chang?
Aye.
The item passes.
Congratulations. The motion passes, and welcome to the city. And we look forward to seeing students there and that area, you know, breathe new life. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We will continue on to item number 5.
Yes, Commissioners. Item number 5 is Development Permit Type P 18-02. It is for the property located on the south side of South Inland Center Drive, and it's approximately 300 feet north of Riverwalk Drive. It's, if you're familiar, to get some bearings, the 215 freeway at Inland Center, there's an existing ARCO station that's there at that intersection. So it's just down the block from there, probably about 300-400 feet on the south side of the street. At this time, we are requesting that this item be continued to the next regular meeting of July the 14th to allow the applicant an opportunity to look at this project, and he was considering some design features that we wanted to have some additional time to do that with him. So with that concludes my presentation. I'd be glad to answer any questions. And again, we are requesting a continuance. Thank you.
Thank you, Oliver. So at this point, I will open public hearing for this item. Do any of the commissioners have any questions about this? You can raise your hand. I see no hand, so I will close public hearing for this item, and I will entertain a motion for us continuing this item for the July meeting.
I make a motion that we continue this item for the July meeting.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Stephanie, if we could have a roll call.
Thank you. Commissioner Guerrero?
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez?
Aye.
Chair Sanchez?
Aye.
Commissioner Quill,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilbur,
Aye.
and Commissioner Chang.
Aye.
The item passes as continued.
Perfect. Thank you. And the time is 6:59. So continue on to our last item, item number 6. If we could have the staff report, please.
Michael?
Let's start over, shall we?
Okay.
Sorry about that. Okay, so item number 6 is subdivision 19-05. It's a request to allow the subdivision of one parcel into 4 single-family lots on a 0.85 acres located at 4294 Electric Avenue within the residential suburban RS zone. The next slide. The owner is Sergio Martinez. He wants to subdivide a 0.85 acre parcel into 4 parcels ranging from around 8,000 square feet to 9,000 square feet. There's an existing house on the property that would not be unchanged. It would remain the same. The project would increase the housing stock, which has been identified and outlined in General Plan Section 4 Economic Development as a key economic issue. It would provide housing opportunities by providing an adequate site for the subdivision and improving the quality of existing housing stock by conserving and improving on what's already existing, as well as revitalizing the neighborhood. It also, the subdivision is also consistent with the policies of the city's general plan and complies with the standards of the development code. Next slide, please. Here we can see the parcel that would be subdivided. It is about 1,600 feet from West 48th Street within the residential suburban zone. Next slide, please. Here we have the aerial of the property. Here we have the existing site looking northwest towards 44th Street. It was kind of hard to get a good picture. It's just really well landscaped and dense. Next slide. But I did put together an aerial. So I did break up the parcels so you can kind of get an idea of what it would look like as it was split. And you can kind of see it does have access. Next slide, please. And this is the site plan. As you can see, we have parcel 1, parcel 2, 3, and 4. 4, it has the existing home located on it. We have, oh, excuse me, my light keeps on turning off. Give me 1 second. I apologize. We have access from Electric Avenue, and as you can see, I have put points of egress into each of the driveways. Next slide. So our recommendation today is that the Planning Commission adopt resolution number 2020-23, finding the categorical exemption and approving subdivision 19-05 based on the findings of fact and subject to the recommended conditions of approval. I can answer any questions, and I believe the applicant is online to answer questions as well.
Perfect. Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I at this point will open public hearing for this item. We will actually hear if the applicant has any other comments they want to add to that staff report.
Oh, good night. My name is Edmundo Ilovaca. I'm the applicant. I just want to thank all the staff for all the help that you gave us during this process. Unfortunately, Sergio, that is the owner, he was at his office and he didn't have any access to internet. I mean, to hear you guys. He can talk, but he cannot hear. I don't know how that works, but it is. So I just want to thank especially Mr. Rosales that has been really helpful in this project. That's all. If you have any question, I'm here.
Perfect. Thank you. So I will go down the list, starting with Commissioner Guerrero.
No questions. Thank you.
No problem. Commissioner Lopez?
I have one question. When we're talking about increasing the housing stock, are those being subdivided for single family homes or is something else?
Single family homes.
Single family homes. Okay.
We'll comply with the residential suburban zone, yes.
All right. Because in some other areas, we've had members come and they don't want apartments and so forth, and they're surrounded by residential areas, and that hasn't always happened. So I appreciate this one, that it is going to be single family home. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Commissioner Quill? If you could unmute yourself, you can't hear me.
Okay, thank you. Is there going to be access off of Lorraine Street, the back street? Are there going to be driveways off of the back street? I believe that's Lorraine. No?
No, there would be no access, only from Electric Avenue via a Hammerhead. So it'd be a Hammerhead turnaround within the parcel. Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Commissioner Wilbert?
Yes, I'm really all for new housing development. It seems like that's hardest thing in the world to get surrounded the city. Is there any obstacles you see in front of you? Water approvals, fire approvals? I mean, it seems like there's always been an obstacle in everything that comes in front of us. Is everything, just bottom line, is it everything free and clear, clear to develop it? Do we have to go through any more processes?
Other than coming back for the actual development of the homes themselves, for the design of the homes, it is adequately ready to serve for utilities and what else it would need. Yes, sir.
So all utilities are in place or are approved anyway?
They will be in place once the development occurs. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Chang?
Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm curious, I have a question for the applicant about how many square feet per each unit or house?
Well, there's two-story houses. You know, I'm not the architect. Maybe Mr. Rosales can help me because he has the drawings in front of them. But I think there's 3-bed, 2-bathroom in an order of 15 to 16 square feet, plus the garage that are required by the code.
Okay.
However, this approval is just for the subdivision. It's not for the development of the homes, but they will be 1,200 square foot minimum as the residential suburban zone does call for, and it will meet all applicable standards for the code.
Great. Thank you. I have no further questions.
You're welcome.
Looks good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Okay, similar to what my other commissioners said and everything, I was wondering what access they had to Lorraine. It didn't seem like a main street, so it's going to be a hammerhead, so it'll curve through
Yes.
there. Perfect. Just wanted to make sure that parcel 2 and 3 had an exit.
Yes, definitely.
Aside from that, I mean, the subdivision looks wonderful. I mean, I know there's other homes in that area, and yeah, I think it'll be a great addition to the area and the development. So we'll go one last round. Do the commissioners have any further questions? Anything else to add? No? If not, then I will entertain a motion I will actually close public hearing for this, and I will entertain a motion for this item. Yes, Commissioner Wilbert.
I'd like to propose, we accept subdivision 19-05.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So we have a motion, we have a second. The time is 7:08. Stephanie, if we could have that vote call.
Of course. Commissioner Guerrero?
Aye.
Commissioner Lopez?
Aye.
Chair Sanchez?
Aye.
Commissioner Quill?
Aye.
Commissioner Wilbert?
Aye.
And Commissioner Chang?
Aye.
Thank you. The item passes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much to everybody. Thank you so much for everybody.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
you have a wonderful evening, and thank you for planning this in our city.
Yeah, no, we will. And you were right in the money when I asked how long would it take, and they say about an hour, and it was perfectly an hour. Thank you so much. Have a good night to everybody.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Armando.
Okay, so at this point, we will have the Planning Commission reports and announcements. Is there anything to report? From either staff or any of the commissioners, is anything happening in your wards?
If I may, commissioners?
Yes.
This is Oliver. Our meeting will adjourn, and I appreciate the commissioners making accommodations or making themselves available for the special meeting that we had requested for June the 23rd. As we sit at this moment, we have 11 items that are ready to be presented to the Planning Commission. I didn't want to have 11 items on the July 14th meeting, so we'll have. I wanted to split it up a little bit. And so for the next meeting, which would be on the 23rd, we're looking to have 4 items on that agenda so that we can alleviate some of those for the July meeting. So I wanted to thank you for that. We have also, if you recall, we had a request for proposals out for our general plan development code update. That period has closed for the submittals, and we received the proposals. I believe we received 8 or 9 proposals that we are in the process of evaluating and moving forward on those, and we will report to you as that item proceeds. So each Planning Commission meeting will give you some kind of verbal report as to where we are in that process. That's it for me at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you, Oliver. I did actually have a few questions. If Mr. Huntley, I see that he's here, if you could give us a kind of overview of what's kind of going on in the city a little bit, with Inland Center Mall, with things happening up north with that, just the different things that are happening in our wards.
Let me close the blind real quick so you can see me.
Yeah, of course. Don't worry, I learned from experience. I actually closed my blinds as well, or my curtains. Yes, the last time it was quite bright.
Yeah, I think that's better. So with that, just talking about some general growth and development, there is actually a lot going on in the city. You're very familiar with what's happening on the San Bernardino International Airport. There is a lot of growth and development. Amazon is currently building a 640,000 square foot building on South 3rd Street, just west of Victoria. This will be the first type of building for Amazon on the West Coast. It's going to employ about 3,000 employees. And really what it does, the building sits on the backside of the tarmac. So airplanes will be able to come directly to the back of the building, unload into the building, and actually expedite moving product back to the homes of individuals like yourself who have ordered product, right? So in addition to that product, there's a number of other projects. One that will be coming in front of you probably in the next 4 to 6 months. The tribe will be submitting entitlement applications for the property on the east side of Victoria, south of 3rd Street, for a 1 million square foot logistics center. That's a huge, gigantic project. That's going to require environmental impact report. We do anticipate them submitting their entitlement packet to us this week. And then, like I said, it's going to take a long time to get through the process, probably 6 to 8 months before it gets to the Planning Commission. In addition to that, if you drive down off of Waterman, you'll see a lot of new logistics buildings. There's a company called Amrita. In total, they have a total of 6 buildings, 2 on Waterman, and then 4 off of Central. That's another 1 million square feet of new buildings going in. One of the prospective tenants is actually Burlington Coat Factory, and no, it will not be open to the public, but it'll be one of their distribution centers. That same company will be submitting additional entitlements. Oliver, correct me if I'm wrong, is it on Central or on Washington, where the old Norton Science Academy was? Oliver?
On Central and Boise.
Yeah, so that's going to be another large project that is coming into us. Also, that one's going to also possibly require a EIR. So there's a lot of stuff growing in and around the airport, a lot of new growth and development that will produce a lot of new jobs for the city. There are some new developments being proposed up off of Palm, west of the 215 freeway. There's a number of new projects. One of those, which will probably work its way to you, is a truck stop, or it's a truck fueling facility by a national brand that will generate a lot of good sales tax through gas sales. Oliver's been working very closely with that group for quite some time. They're working through their entitlements, and those should be submitted to us shortly. We haven't had a whole lot of success right now with new infill housing. We have a lot of subdivisions. I know the planning commissioners have voiced concerns about these continual extensions to these tentative track maps, that continue to go on, and we're doing what we can to push some of these home builders to move forward and build some of these new housing tracks up off of, we'll say it's the east side of the 215 up in the Vermont area itself. Now, the commission's also seen a lot of other new commercial projects, some of the smaller ones, as you've seen. I think last planning commission, the commission approved 2 new ones, as you're aware, the one up on Highland and the 215, the 215 freeway, and the one down on Central and Tippecanoe. The other project I do want to mention to you is out on Arden and Guthrie off Highland. That project, believe it or not, has been going on for probably close to 14 years. It was a former redevelopment agency site. As part of the dissolution of redevelopment, the project stalled for probably 5 to 6 years. The city's now in negotiations with the developer to buy it. That did go to council. Council approved the purchase and sales agreement of the 17-acre site for a future commercial infill project. It now has to go to the county oversight board first, and then the State Department of Finance. And why it has to go through those 2 agencies is it's a former redevelopment asset, and we are required by state law to take it to them. I guess one of the advantages that that'll provide is the city's using CDBG funding to pay down the debt service. If we can get the property sold, then the debt service we're paying down with CDBG funds, those funds can be used for other improvements within the city, more capital improvement projects, streets and things. So one of the things we want to get done is get the property sold and bring those funds in to use in the city. I will tell you with Arden Guthrie is they will be coming in and amending their entitlements. Since their entitlements were approved back in 2012, it's the entitlements are somewhat stale. The commercial real estate market's changed. They need to come back in and they need to refresh their entitlements. Home Depot is not a tenant, but they are looking at a mid-range hotel as part of the commercial development on that property. And you'll see that probably, if we can get final approval by the State Department of Finance, you'll probably see the entitlements or the entitlement application in front of you, I'll probably say early winter of this year. So that's in kind of a nutshell. There's a lot more too, but I'm just trying to keep it as condensed as possible, kind of just provide an overview in regards to what's happening. So.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Huntley. I know that I speak on behalf of my commissioners. We're all really excited. If the commissioners have any kind of specific ones for their ward or anything like that, we're going to ask that right now. Commissioner Guerrero, you seem to be wanting to.
Yes, thank you. I just had a couple of questions. One is status of the Carousel Mall.
You ready?
Yes.
So I'll start down first. So it's the Carousel Mall. We did go out. We did a RFQ first to find some qualified people who would like to buy it and develop the property. There were a total of 11 companies that submitted. We reduced it to 5 after interviews, submitted that to council, and council accepted the top 3. And that went to council, and then council agreed that we should move forward. Then we prepared an RFP that went out. That has now been prepared by those companies. They have submitted those proposals, and I'm looking over at my conference table and I see stacks of proposals on my desk. So with that said, our next step is going to be to vet those and then do interviews again and then submit the proposals to council for the consideration. I want to guesstimate that's going to be probably August of this year. We want to make sure we have enough time to go through everything, but probably August we'll submit the proposals to council for their final determination. So
wonderful. Second item, thank you, Mr. Huntley. Second item was for Mr. Mojica. The Pepe's nightclub on 5th and Mount Vernon. I see they've been doing some paint preparations.
Yes. Yes, they have. And I spoke with the owners. They indicated that they were looking at the, we haven't finalized it yet because they're still contemplating and we haven't been able to speak because of the situations here. But in my last conversation, they were going to, and I don't know the color, but they said similar to that of the church, Guadalupe Church. So that earth tone, I think it's like a light or a darker white kind of a thing, but that's the color that they were looking at.
Okay. Did they ever get their plans approved?
Yes, the plans are approved. Construction drawings have been approved. They have their permits. Yes.
Okay.
Perfect. I know that we were going to have a little commission, I believe, with Commissioner Guerrero, myself, and Commissioner Chang.
Yeah, when they're, like I said, we did say that. And so he's going to, that's, like I said, in my last conversation, that's the color. Because he asked me, he goes, what do you think? What do you think if I just do it the same color as the church? I said, that might be better than bright yellow. And so he's going to get some samples, and he is aware, and we are planning to schedule some time with the three of you so we could confirm the color of his building.
Perfect. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure that was being followed up, and that would be done. All right.
Right.
Is there any other comments or reports that staff or commissioners want to make? Any other questions to Mr. Huntley? Now that we have him here.
I have some questions for Mr. Huntley, if I may. This is Commissioner Lopez.
Yes.
Can I go? Can you hear me, Mike?
I'm just waiting.
Oh, okay. Okay. Number one, first of all, Oliver, if they choose the color of the church, they have my blessing. Okay. And then secondly, since you reported about the Arlen Guthrie being sold to a developer, are you talking about that property being sold to the current developer who's had it for a number of years, but without success has been able to develop it, or is this a new developer?
It is the same developer. So just for the commission's benefit, the development entity that's been interested, it included two components of a team. One was Home Depot, the other one was Mark Development. And I know when I said earlier it's been 14 years, it has been, but I do want to make it clear too, it hasn't necessarily been their issues. So if we start looking, just a little bit of background, looking at it.
No, I'm aware that there have been various issues without beyond his control. You know.
Correct. So yes, it's Mark Development.
Okay. The other question that I have is, we have the Inland Center, and we know that Sears is closed, and now we know that JCPenney's is closing. And I'm not sure if Forever 21 announced that they were closing or if they've already closed. And if they have, now we only have Macy's, which is the large department store there that is going to be the only anchor. And I'm wondering if either through your office or through the city, are we working with the Inland Center? Because we can't lose that. There are a whole lot of other smaller shops that I know depend on the foot traffic that those large anchors also bring. So are we doing anything either through your office or through the city to work with the people for the Inland Center to keep that going?
Yeah. So to share with the commission, staff is working with actually the manager of the mall. The mall is actually owned by Macerich. They're I think they're the 6th largest shopping center owner in the U.S. So we have been in contact with them. They have been looking at other plans for expansion. I know that they're currently reaching out to JCPenney's to see if they will keep this store open. I know they aren't closing all the stores, but this is one of the ones that JCPenney's had earmarked to close, right? So what I know today is that the mall manager is working with JCPenney's not to have that happen, right? But we have been in discussions with mall management, and we start looking at a large commercial site like that. It's just not Macerich that owns it. Usually most of the major anchors will own their own parcel, right? So you had mentioned Sears, and that's been picked up. Sears has a development arm called Seritage, and Seritage is, and Oliver and I have had a number of meetings with them over the last 6 months. What that company's main intentions to do is take the old Sears property assets and reposition those. So we've had dialogue with them, and they're looking at different options for that building. They're also looking at if, and I'm sure you all are familiar with Sears, they have a huge field of parking that faces toward the street, and it's really an underutilized area. So in addition to looking at repositioning the building and the auto service shop area, they're also looking at filling those fields maybe with restaurant types of uses. So there are interested parties looking at how they can make the property bigger and better than it is today.
Yeah, it has to reflect good places where people like to socially gather, sure, whether it's dining or light entertainment or shopping. If we do increase as we move forward to this new job development based on all the developments that you're talking that are currently occurring within the city, they're going to need a place to shop, and we want them to spend their money within the city. The last item that I have is really mostly a comment. I'm glad to hear Oliver reported that proposal is going to go out for, I guess, the contract with someone about amending or reviewing and reevaluating the municipal code. Did I hear that correctly? And I just want to remind you, because I know you remember that Muscoviabi and Blair Park Neighborhood Association did meet with you in your office to discuss changes that we thought were critical for the new municipal code when we get reviewing on what requires a conditional use permit. So I hope you still have that in your hot little hands, and we'll be.
I do.
And yeah, whoever you.
Correct. So for the benefit of the commission, what Oliver had talked about earlier was, the city had put out a request for proposal to update the general plan and development code, which is a portion of the municipal code. What the commissioners also mentioned was social service types of uses. And actually, staff is currently working on a draft as we speak. We're going to have a meeting this week to look at the draft language associated with that. And as we work through that, that will be coming to the Planning Commission as a code amendment to the development code that deals with social service types of uses. So that will come before, and it'll be prior to the update to the general plan and development code.
We thank you. We appreciate that, and we'll be watching it closely. Thank you.
Sure, you should.
All right. Perfect. If we have no further comments, I want to thank you, Oliver, Stephanie, Mr. Huntley, for answering our questions. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting and to reconvene in July, or actually our June 23rd meeting.
Correct. Thank you.
Do I have a motion for that?
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Lopez and a second from? Second from Commissioner Quill. All right. Stephanie, if you want to do the vote roll call.
Is that it? Everybody vote aye to adjourn?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's a unanimous vote.
Aye.
Perfect. Then we will see you all June 23rd, and have a wonderful rest of your evening.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.